Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls the world over, it seems that time of year has rolled around once again. Yes, the mecca of all gaming culture, the E-est of threes, E3 season is almost upon us, and I'm praying to all of the terrifying pagan gods that I follow that it's not an absolutely disappointing shitshow this year. What with the 1-2 punch of the next generation consoles on the horizon and many subsequent companies bowing out of the conference proceedings, it's starting to feel like there really isn't much left to be talked about in the coming weeks. But if past experience has taught us hipsters anything, is to expect the unexpected, and quite frankly, the thought of mind-blowing revelation still keeps the hype train rolling strong for me. With that being said, I figured it'd be cool to go over some of the top 10 games I'm expecting to see this year. Whether it be new trailers, gameplay demos, or release date announcements, here are the top 10 games I'm personally looking forward to most in E3 2019. Number 10. Death Stranding. The cryptic fuckfest that has gamers the world over in the polarizing position of utter awe and disappointed confusion, Death Stranding might just have the mystery finally solved, or at the very least mildly understood. While much else isn't known about the game, aside from countless hours of agonizing research and painstaking analysis brought to you by the content creator population, what we can say is this open world action game that's set to have some kind of multiplayer suite in conjunction with the single player campaign has been setting the gaming world on fire behind the scenes. Many lucky studios have been blessed with the opportunity to snag a glance at some early gameplay demos headed by the big man himself, and the general consensus has been overwhelmingly positive, with many even referring to the game as an absolute revolution. That's about as hyperbolic of a statement as one can get, but I, for one, have complete and utter faith that if there's anyone in this industry who can shake things up and really change the way we look at games as a medium, it's certainly going to be Kojumbles. Number 9. Jedi Knight Fallen Order. I've been trying harder and harder over the course of the past few months since its announcement to get myself more excited for this game, but anytime I get even the slightest bit of hype, I'm constantly reminded of the many pitfalls EA took to get here. News of Amy Hennig and her team's grave misfortune with the Star Wars license have certainly given me pause when it comes to Fallen Order, but a promising reveal trailer coupled along with the stark pedigree that is the Respawn name has me, at the very least, interested in seeing what's going to be on offer this November. With an entire 30-minute block set aside for its gameplay reveal, here's hoping that the new single-player action game brought to you by the elites who came up with Titanfall end up saving Star Wars in the video game space, or at the very least die trying. Number 8. Halo Infinite. Man, it's good to be back. The Master Chief Collection for PC on the horizon and the confirmation that Infinite is also coming to PC, it feels good to be able to look at Halo and be excited again. We haven't seen much else past an engine demonstration as far as trailers go, but something tells me this coming E3 is finally going to blow the lid off this title. We're going to get the gameplay reveal, the multiplayer demos, and the release date all in one day, because that's just the kind of hype Microsoft has been serving up, and it feels like just now more than ever is the perfect time to get people fully invested in the license once again. Whatever does end up happening, at the very least, you can expect Infinite to be at E3 in some capacity, even if the only playable instance of it is behind closed doors. Still, let's keep our fingers crossed for a public presentation. Number 7. Naoki Yoshida's next generation project. Look, it may be a tad bit early to be talking about this, but if there's any company that's entirely okay with the concept of prematurely announcing a title well before its release, it's the good old boys over at Square Enix. What we do know is that the business division that Yoshi P is in charge of just recently started up large-scale recruitment for a title that's been in quiet development over the course of the past year. We also know that it does have indeed some kind of online focus as well. SC attempting to launch another MMO sounds ridiculous, especially with FF14 being the second most successful MMO on the market about to kick into full gear with the release of its next expansion pack, Shadowbringers. The rumor mill has instead been stating that this may be a games as service title Final Fantasy spin-off, which, if you ask me, they couldn't have picked a better team to head up. While a part of me still has some hope that this is all just a smokescreen to let Yoshi P head up the next single-player installment in the mainline franchise, I think that whatever it does end up being, it's in the best hands that SC could ever possibly put them in. I mean, we're talking about a guy who pretty much single-handedly saved an entire company from bankruptcy here with his MMO revisions. At the very least, let's just hope that Square Enix Presser isn't as terrible as the last. But speaking of Square... Number 6. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. During this month's State of Play, a brand spanking new trailer was revealed, and mother of God was it a beaut. I'll be honest, the first time I saw it appear on screen, I wasn't entirely sure it was real. After 4 whole years of radio silence, it was pretty much universally thought to be vaporware, a victim of another case of Square Enix mismanagement. But the more and more you see the trailer, the clearer the picture becomes. The frame rate is stable, the cutscenes are in place, and the areas are many as the trailer goes to places that find themselves relatively close to the end of the Midgar scenario in the original game. Hell, even the lip sync is matching up correctly, guys. A part of me doesn't want to throw this out there, but I'm thinking this game might actually be coming out relatively soon. Well, at least the first part might be coming out soon. We don't have any concrete details on how exactly they plan on meting out the series as a whole, but it's been confirmed multiple times that the remake will be multiple parts. A sad reality that means this dream project can come to fruition. Square Enix has made their plans pretty public that they intend on making a fuck ton of money over the next year, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm totally on Team 2019 here, even if it is December 31st. Although a January to March release date would line up better with how they've been handling the releases so far, but hey, we've come this far, right? Why not just let hopes be high and let the hype take us away? Please be good, 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 please be good. Number 5. Doom Eternal. I think it's safe to say that no one was prepared for the megaton that was Doom 2016's release. I don't know if maybe the presenters are bad or Bethesda just has this uncanny ability to make something that is ridiculously fun look slow and boring, but man oh man, Doom did just not demo well for the longest time. It wasn't until many of us finally got our greasy little mitts on it that we realized that Doom 2016 was perhaps one of the greatest, if not the greatest shooter on the market. Suffice it to say, it seems like the team over at id is intending to kick it up a notch by adding a grapple hook and some air dashes, and if those combination of words don't get your jiggly bits a wiggling, I'm sorry to say you might honestly be dead, because that's the hypest shit I've ever heard. However, once again, it feels like whoever is at the helm for the latest presentation of Doom Eternal just can't figure out how to play a shooter correctly for the life of them. I'm not talking polygon levels of tomfuckery here, but somehow the footage that's come out of the Stadia presentation has shown it off to be a tad slower than the original, which would honestly break my heart into 1,000 pieces if that were true. Let's hope that for E3 2019 this year, Bethesda brings a stronger showing than they ever have before, alongside a nice release date to keep us Demon Slayers at bay. Number 4. Dino Crisis. The internet rumor mill has been ablaze with talk of what might be the next game in Capcom's ultimate run-back tour, the prehistoric terror that was Dino Crisis. Whether or not the game in question is a modern-day remake, new sequel, or hard reboot is still up in the air, but what little is known about Resident Evil's survival horror cousin is many pegging its official reveal for the Microsoft presser. Honestly, after the stellar showcase that was the 2018 presser, I wouldn't put it past Capcom to saddle these boys with another killer announcement to help bring in the next generation. While there aren't many more details to go on, you can bet your little ass the RE engine will be used in full swing to bring these Jurassic beauties back to life in stunning 4K. For the time being, let's all put our hands together and pray to the great gaming gods and we get another opportunity to fire all manner of modern day weaponry into some tough dinosaur hides as soon as humanly possible. Number 3. No More Heroes 3. Okay, so this really isn't as much of a long shot as I thought before, since it just got recently announced that the minigame collection Travis Strikes Again is actually going to be coming to both PC and PS4, which is great news for those of us who thought that this game's success was the only chance for Nintendo to be convinced of helping to facilitate the creation of a third entry in this much beloved franchise. However, Suda51 has been pretty coy as of late, talking about how he might have another cool announcement around the corner for E3, and in recent interviews has said that the team at Marvelous really enjoys the No More Heroes franchise as well, leading many to speculate that they might not even need Nintendo to foot the bill, as Marvelous could very well launch the initiative to get the third entry off the ground. To be honest, after the massive disappointment that Let It Die was, I just want Suda to direct another fucking game that won't make me want to commit seppuku with the mere mention of its name. Ugh. Here's hoping the Crownless King shows up once again to put the competition back in its place. Number 2. Last of Us Part 2. This is a game that's been all but confirmed to have a release date set for this year, with all manner of people coming out of the woodwork to let the masses know that they have it on pretty good authority that the second game in this bloody franchise could very well see the light of day in 2019. Originally, I considered this to be kind of a tall order, considering how much time has been spent on trying to sell Days Gone as the game to buy this year, but after some thought, I've got to say, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being the case. I mean, for what it's worth, this game has been in development for quite some time now, and if anything, kind of lines up with how they ended up releasing the last game as well. The PS4 was pretty much on the cusp of release when the OG one dropped on the PS3, so I don't think that the next generation is much of an issue. It just seems weird because by the time that the original Last of Us was around the corner, we'd already seen plenty of what the game has to offer. We did get a pretty sizable chunk of gameplay last year, and I'm positive that there will be some kind of state of play next month that shows off The Last of Us 2 in some capacity, but for the time being, I'm going to remain skeptical on this. For what it's worth, I'm ridiculously excited for another gore-filled romp through this post-apocalyptic world, as the gameplay demo last year showed many stellar improvements of the already amazing combat loop that was on display in the original game. All that on top of a nice little revenge story makes for a game that I'd certainly love to see more of in the coming weeks. Hey, Max, just kind of put this in. I just was going through some Google stuff, and apparently it is confirmed that we will be getting a release date, like, this fucking week. So I guess just put this in as well. Fuck it, whatever. We are gonna see it. Woohoo! Here it is, folks. The creme de la creme, the talk of the town. Truly, king shit of all video games is here. It's been confirmed many times over by CD Projekt Red that Cyberpunk will most definitely be at E3 this year, but the demo will not be playable on the show floor. That being said, they've also stated this could be the biggest E3 in the company's history to date, which is many speculating that could potentially be a release date drop at the end of this showcase. Those of you on Team 2019 are fucking nuts, and I love it, but I'm going to shoot for the more conservative 2020 date, because why the fuck wouldn't you? Just seems like it'd be a happy accident with a Cyberpunk game released in a year that's so synonymous with its original story. After last year's closed-door presentation was finally revealed to us, the want to engage with the world of Cyberpunk 2077 shot up from a respectable level of hype to a near-ravenous need. With a combination of a jaw-droppingly beautiful and fully lived-in world in constant flux, next-level customization, and a story that genuinely changes with every single choice you make, it's no surprise that the general populace is already calling this game out to be potentially one of the best RPGs of all time. With all that being said, I can't wait to see what CD Projekt Red has in store for us this year at E3. Oh, there it is. All the reasons why I think this year's E3 2019 is shaping it up to be quite the banger. And if you're interested in spending some quality time with your favorite hipster boys and going over your most anticipated games and reveals for the E3 this year, don't hesitate to give our Twitch a follow. We will most definitely be live streaming our reactions to the whole shebang. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope to see you guys in chat as we reign in another year of hype. Love y'all. Peace for now.